My name is Amina, and I'm 32 years old. I've been married to my husband, Mark, for nearly 9 years. We have 2 amazing kids, Leah, 10, and Ryan, 8. When I first met Mark, I felt like everything in my life had fallen into place. He was smart, funny, and made me feel like I was the most important person in the world. We built a life together, got married, had kids, and I thought we were a team, unstoppable, really. But recently, everything started feeling different. I didn't know exactly when it happened, but there was a shift in the air, a distance between us that I couldn't explain. And that's when I found out that Mark still had unresolved feelings for his ex-wife. It wasn't something he directly told me, but rather something I uncovered, piece by piece. It all started one evening when I was getting dinner ready in the kitchen. Mark was in the living room, doing something on his phone, and the kids were upstairs finishing their homework. It was supposed to be just another ordinary night, but I could sense something wasn't quite right. I was chopping vegetables when I overheard Mark talking on the phone. It wasn't an unusual thing for him to talk on the phone. He had friends, work calls, but this time, it sounded different. His voice had a softness to it, a tone I hadn't heard in years. I know it's been a while, but we should catch up, even if just for a little while. I miss talking to you, you know, he said. I froze, the knife in my hand pausing midair. Catch up. Miss talking to you. That wasn't a casual conversation. That wasn't a friendly chat. My heart sank as I realized that the you he was talking to wasn't just any friend. It was his ex-wife, Rachel. I knew it immediately. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, trying to figure out how to react. The sound of his voice, so familiar, yet so intimate, struck me like a slap to the face. I didn't know how to process it. I couldn't even speak at first. After a few moments, I managed to turn around and look at him. Who was that? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady, though I could feel the heat of anger rising in my chest. Mark looked up, a bit startled, before his expression softened. Oh, it was Rachel. She's going through some stuff at work and needed someone to talk to. You know, we're just catching up. I wanted to believe him, I really did. But there was something in his eyes that made me feel like there was more to the story. And there was. The days that followed were filled with uncertainty. Mark kept talking to Rachel more frequently, often late at night or when I wasn't around. Sometimes I'd hear him laughing, or I'd catch snippets of their conversations. I didn't want to be the paranoid wife, but the more I heard, the more I started to feel like an outsider in my own marriage. One night, as I was putting Leah and Ryan to bed, I saw Mark's phone light up with a message from Rachel. It was a simple, "Hey, just checking in. Hope you're doing okay." But it was the smile that crept onto his face as he read it that sent a chill down my spine. I knew my husband. I knew when he was happy. And this was different. He looked genuinely happy, in a way I hadn't seen in a long time. Over the next week, things began to spiral. The tension between Mark and me was palpable, and I started noticing more things I hadn't before. His attention seemed to be elsewhere, and when I asked about his day, he'd give vague answers. His usual affection had become distant. It was like he was slipping through my fingers, and I had no idea how to stop it. I tried confronting him once, asking why he was spending so much time talking to Rachel. He brushed it off, saying it was just a catch-up between old friends. But deep down, I could feel it in my gut, that nagging suspicion that things were getting out of hand. I wasn't sure what to do anymore. A few weeks later, the situation took a turn. One evening, when I was cleaning the house, I came across an old box of photos. They were from Mark's past, his wedding to Rachel, their trips, their life together. Without thinking, I pulled out the album and started flipping through the pages. I told myself I wasn't jealous. I told myself I didn't care. But each photo I looked at seemed to burn my skin. In one photo, Mark was holding Rachel in his arms, and they looked so happy, so in love. I'd seen that look before, when we were first together, when he'd look at me like I was his world. But lately, that look was gone. And the more I stared at that photo, the more it felt like I was holding a ghost. I set the album down and went to find Mark. He was sitting on the couch, flipping through his phone, and I couldn't help myself. I asked again, my voice shaking this time, "Are you still in love with her?" He looked up at me, and for the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. He opened his mouth to speak but didn't say anything for a long moment. Finally, he sighed. "Amina, it's complicated." Complicated? That's when it hit me. He hadn't just been talking to Rachel because of some old friendship. He still had unresolved feelings for her. And that revelation tore me apart. I spent the next few days in a haze of disbelief. I didn't know what to feel. Anger, sadness, frustration, each emotion felt like it was tearing me in two. My heart ached every time I thought of Mark and Rachel, their past together, and the life I thought I had with him. I couldn't stop asking myself why this was happening, why I wasn't enough for him. I remember lying awake in bed, feeling a wave of helplessness wash over me. The woman I was becoming wasn't the one I recognized anymore. I was consumed with doubt. Was this all just a phase? Was I just being paranoid? Or had my marriage really been a lie? I tried to talk to Mark about it, but he would shut down every time. He said he didn't want to hurt me, but it was too late. The damage was done. I couldn't even explain to him how hurt I felt. It wasn't just about Rachel. It was about everything I thought we had, the trust, the years we spent together. I felt like he was slipping away, and I had no way of stopping it. As if things weren't hard enough for me, I started noticing how it was affecting the kids too. Leah had started asking why Mark wasn't as affectionate with me anymore. She'd notice him spending late nights on his phone or hear him laughing at something Rachel had said. It wasn't fair to them either. Ryan, ever the observant one, began to act out. I knew he could sense the tension, but I wasn't sure how to fix it. Every day felt like we were all walking on eggshells. I felt like I was failing not just as a wife, but as a mother too. How could I protect my kids from something I couldn't even fix? And so, here I am. I still don't know where my marriage is headed. Every day feels like a battle, one that I'm not sure I'm winning. Mark says he's trying, but his actions tell me otherwise. The distance between us grows with every passing day, and I can't keep pretending that everything is okay. I still love him, but I don't know if I can ever trust him again. And I don't know if he can ever love me the way he loved Rachel. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe he'll come back to me, or maybe we'll both end up learning that love isn't always enough to fix what's broken. But for now, I'm stuck in the middle, trying to find a way forward, even if it means doing it alone. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever been in a situation where trust was broken, or if you've been through something similar, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, and share this video if it resonated with you. Maybe you know someone who's going through something similar and could use some support. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.